Hey guys, Bravo here with the Party Nerds, here for an update about the Sony Disney Spider-Man fiasco. So while a lot of people believe that this is a fair deal because Disney is asking for 50-50 partnership on it, the problem is that Disney is making a massive jump from a 5% deal while keeping all of the merchandise to a 50% deal while still keeping all of the merchandise. Sony owns Spider-Man. They bought Spider-Man before there was any interest in making superhero movies. They also, ironically, had an opportunity to buy the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for, I think it was about either $3 million or $6 million, but that's a different story. Disney's collaboration was originally for 5% while keeping all of the merchandise, which is a huge deal. Merchandising will arguably make you more money than the movie itself will. This is how George Lucas built up the massive fortune that he had before Disney bought Star Wars. Now, Disney is painting the picture of a 50-50 collaboration split. The problem is, they still maintain 100% of all of the merchandising. Not only that, this extends to future projects that Sony was already building up for the Spider-Man universe. Movies like Kraven, like Venom 2, like Morbius, the Living Vampire. All of these, now Disney would have a 50-50% stake in. What that totals out is billions of loss for Sony, just so that Disney can use Spider-Man in their own movies and then no longer pay Sony for it. For an example, just to make the same amount of money that they made on Far From Home, Sony would need Far From Home to make at least $2 billion, which is an insane amount of money for a movie to make, one that has not been possible yet. We're talking about a 5% jump to a 50% jump. That's 10 times the amount of what their original agreement was. So that you understand, Far From Home's budget was $160 million, while it made $1.11 billion, which means with the current deal that they have, if the merchandising matched what the box office was, which merchandising is usually a much higher amount, we're talking about Disney making $1 billion and about $50 million on top of that. Whereas Sony made about $980 million, okay? Already Disney is making more than Sony in this deal, but it's not that far. $70 million to be exact. But that's, again, not that huge of a difference. We're talking about a complete collaboration, where now Disney is saying, give me half of what you made. So the new deal, if they had it with Far From Home, Disney would have made about $2 billion, whereas Sony would have made $490 million. Not even $500 million. So with this new deal, Disney would make about 4 times as much as the company that actually owns the rights to the character. Meanwhile, you have to ask yourself, well, how much money did Sony make off of Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, since it had a character of theirs in it? While it's being painted as a fair deal, it's just really not a fair deal. Sony's making the right call, even though it pains me to see that we wouldn't see Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. If this is the only offer that Disney's bringing to the table, it's really not a good call for Sony to make the deal.